Welcome back to Sinister Secrets, where we uncover the world's darkest mysteries and most chilling tales. Tonight we're stepping into a place shrouded in fear and fascination, a house that once held the world's most sinister artifacts, locked away to protect us all. Nestled in the quiet town of Monroe, Connecticut, this unassuming home was no ordinary residence. It was the Warrens' Occult Museum, a vault of horrors curated by two of the most renowned paranormal investigators in history, Ed and Lorraine Warren. Before we dive into this eerie story, we want to thank each and every one of you for joining us on this journey into the unknown. Your support, your curiosity, and your bravery make this channel what it is. So if you're ready to explore the mysteries lurking just beyond the veil, grab a seat, dim the lights, and let's step into the chilling world of the Warrens' Occult Museum, where every object has a story, and every story is darker than the last. Ed Warren, a self-taught demonologist with an unrelenting curiosity for the paranormal, and Lorraine Warren, a gifted clairvoyant whose visions often pierced the veil between this world and the next, began their extraordinary journey into the unknown in the early 1950s. United by a shared fascination with the supernatural and a mission to help those plagued by unexplained phenomena, the couple laid the groundwork for what would become a lifelong pursuit of the truth behind the paranormal. Together, they founded the New England Society for Psychic Research, one of the oldest paranormal investigative organizations in the United States. Their mission was twofold: to provide aid to those terrorized by unexplainable forces and to document their encounters for posterity. Over the decades, they became known not just for their willingness to confront the darkness head-on, but also for their meticulous efforts to research and validate the phenomena they encountered. From hauntings and possessions to curses and poltergeist activity, their cases ran the gamut from unsettling to outright terrifying. While some of their investigations began as minor disturbances, creaks in the night, objects moving without explanation, others descended into outright horror, involving demonic entities, malevolent spirits, and forces beyond comprehension. Their reputation grew with each successful case, drawing the attention of the media, religious institutions, and even skeptics. Many of their most famous cases, such as the Amityville Horror, the Peron family haunting, and the Enfield poltergeist, would later inspire books, documentaries, and films, cementing their legacy in both paranormal research and popular culture. Throughout their investigations, the Warrens frequently encountered cursed or haunted objects that they believed were at the center of the activity. Rather than leave these dangerous items in the hands of the unsuspecting, they took it upon themselves to remove and contain them, believing this was the only way to neutralize the malevolent energy attached to them. These objects ranged from the mundane, such as dolls, mirrors, and jewelry, to the bizarre, including occult idols and ritualistic tools. Each one carried a dark and chilling story, and together they became the foundation of what would later be known as the Warrens' Occult Museum. The museum was not merely a collection of curiosities, but a vault of horrors, a physical record of the unseen dangers the Warrens had spent their lives confronting. Every object was carefully stored, many within glass cases and surrounded by sacred symbols to prevent the energies within from escaping. Visitors often described an oppressive feeling as they walked through the museum, as though the very walls were alive with the echoes of the supernatural encounters these items had witnessed. Ed and Lorraine's work was not without controversy. Skeptics questioned their methods and doubted their claims, but the couple remained steadfast in their belief that their work was necessary. For them, every case was a battle between good and evil, and the stakes were nothing less than the safety of the people who sought their help. Their tireless dedication to documenting and understanding the paranormal left a profound impact, creating a legacy that endures to this day. Through their cases, their museum, and the stories they left behind, Ed and Lorraine Warren remain two of the most iconic figures in the history of paranormal investigation. Today we'll explore some of the most infamous objects housed within the Warrens' Occult Museum, each with a dark and disturbing backstory. These items, collected over decades of paranormal investigations, are far from ordinary. They're artifacts tied to hauntings, curses, and demonic forces. From cursed dolls to sinister trinkets used in occult rituals, every object tells a story of fear, danger, and the supernatural encounters that led Ed and Lorraine Warren to lock them away for the safety of others. One of the most infamous items in the Warrens' Occult Museum is the Annabelle doll, an unassuming Raggedy Ann doll whose innocent appearance conceals a harrowing history. The story begins in 1970 when two young nurses, Donna and Angie, received the doll as a gift. Initially, it seemed like an ordinary, heartfelt present. Little did they know their lives were about to spiral into a nightmare. Shortly after bringing Annabelle into their apartment, strange occurrences began to unfold. At first, the doll seemed to move on its own, its positioning subtly altered. Donna would leave Annabelle on her bed in the morning and return to find it sitting on the couch or in an entirely different room by evening. These movements, though unsettling, were initially brushed off as tricks of the imagination. However, the activity soon escalated. Donna and Angie began noticing that Annabelle wasn't just moving, but also emanating an unnerving presence. Angie vividly recalled nights when she felt the doll's button eyes fixed on her, as though it was silently observing her every move. Things took a darker turn when Donna began discovering small handwritten notes scattered throughout the apartment. Written in childlike scrawl, the notes contained eerie messages like, "Help me," and "Save Lou." The true horror lay in their mysterious origin. Donna and Angie had no idea who or what was writing them. Even more chilling, some notes appeared to be written in what resembled blood, though no source could be identified within the apartment. Their friend Lou, who often visited the apartment, harbored an intense unease about Annabelle. From the start, he believed the doll was evil and urged Donna and Angie to get rid of it. His fears proved to be justified during a horrifying experience that left him deeply shaken. One night, Lou awoke to a suffocating sensation and the unnerving feeling of being watched. As he opened his eyes, he froze in terror. Annabelle was at the foot of his bed. Before he could react, the doll began crawling up his body, its fabric hands pressing against his throat. Lou struggled to breathe as an invisible force seemed to pin him down. The attack ended as abruptly as it began, leaving him gasping for air. When he examined his chest afterward, he found claw-like scratches that burned intensely but vanished within hours, leaving no physical trace. Desperate to understand what was happening, Donna and Angie turned to a medium. During a séance, the medium claimed that the doll was inhabited by the spirit of a young girl named Annabelle Higgins. According to her, Annabelle was a child who had died tragically on the property and wanted to stay with the nurses for comfort. Feeling pity for the alleged spirit, Donna and Angie made a grave mistake. They gave Annabelle permission to stay within the doll. This act of compassion inadvertently opened the door to something far more sinister. The disturbances grew more violent, and what initially seemed like the antics of a mischievous ghost soon revealed itself as something malevolent. Fearing for their safety, Donna and Angie contacted Ed and Lorraine Warren, the renowned paranormal investigators. Upon investigating, the Warrens quickly concluded that Annabelle was not inhabited by the spirit of a child. Instead, it was a demonic entity using the guise of an innocent child to manipulate and gain the nurses' trust. This deception allowed the demon to draw closer to its ultimate goal, claiming a human soul. The Warrens performed a blessing on the apartment to rid it of the demonic presence. They then took Annabelle with them, placing the doll in a specially designed glass case in their occult museum. To ensure it could do no further harm, the case was blessed by a priest and sealed with a stern warning: "Positively do not open." Even within its secure enclosure, Annabelle remains a chilling centerpiece of the Warrens' collection. Visitors report an overwhelming sense of unease when standing near the glass case, and some claim that the doll's dark influence can still be felt. Over the years, Annabelle has become a symbol of the dangers of underestimating the supernatural, a cautionary tale for those who dare to confront the unknown. The story of Annabelle serves as a grim reminder that evil often hides in the most unsuspecting forms, waiting patiently for an invitation to wreak havoc. Another spine-chilling artifact in the Warrens' Occult Museum is the infamous Shadow Doll, an unsettling and grotesque figure that seems to exude an air of pure malevolence. Unlike the more traditional and unassuming appearance of the Annabelle doll, the Shadow Doll's horrifying design immediately sets it apart. Its hollow, gaping eyes seem to follow onlookers, and its claw-like hands appear as though they are ready to grab hold of anyone who gets too close. Crafted from a macabre combination of human bones, animal remains, and darkly enchanted materials, The doll is a chilling testament to the dark practices that birthed it. What makes the shadow doll truly terrifying is its alleged ability to invade the dreams of those who encounter it. Victims who had the misfortune of crossing its path reported experiencing vivid, horrifying nightmares in which the doll appeared as a malevolent entity. These dreams were far from ordinary. They were described as deeply visceral and inescapable, leaving victims with an overwhelming sense of dread even after waking. The terror did not end with the dreams, as many of the victims discovered unexplained scratches, bruises and marks on their bodies, as though the doll had physically attacked them while they slept. The Warrens, deeply familiar with the doll's dark history, concluded that it had been used in occult rituals, likely for summoning or binding malevolent spirits. According to their investigations, the shadow doll was crafted not only as a vessel for a spirit, but also as a weapon. The occult practitioners who created it supposedly used it to curse their enemies. By invoking the doll in a ritual and placing it near a photograph or personal item of the intended victim, the doll would allegedly unleash its nightmare-inducing power, tormenting the individual from afar. The Warrens took the doll into their care after a young couple reported experiencing its sinister effects. The couple had unwittingly purchased the shadow doll at an estate sale, unaware of its dark origins. Almost immediately they began experiencing horrifying phenomena, including chilling whispers, cold spots, and terrifying nightmares. The final straw came when they awoke one morning to find deep, fresh scratches on their arms and legs, despite having locked the doll away in a box. Once in the Warrens' possession, the shadow doll was placed under strict containment in their museum, surrounded by protective charms and blessings to neutralize its harmful influence. Despite these precautions, the doll remains one of the most feared objects in the collection, with many visitors reporting an unsettling feeling of being watched when near its display case. The Warrens believed that the malevolent spirit bound to the doll could never truly be exorcised, making it a permanent and dangerous reminder of the dark forces lurking just beyond our understanding. The museum also housed the infamous satanic idol, a crudely carved stone figure that radiates an ominous and malevolent presence. Unlike the other items in the Warrens' collection, which often stemmed from haunted homes or cursed possessions, this idol has its roots deep in the shadowy woods of Connecticut. The figure was discovered by a group of hikers who stumbled upon a clearing where the idol stood at the center of what appeared to be an altar. Surrounding it were burnt candles, strange symbols etched into the earth, and remnants of what looked like sacrificial offerings. The hikers, unnerved by the eerie scene, reported seeing hooded figures retreating into the trees, leaving the idol behind. When Ed Warren investigated the site, he described an immediate and overpowering sense of dread, as if the air around the idol was charged with something sinister. The figure itself, though roughly hewn from stone, seemed to pulsate with an unsettling energy. It bore grotesque, distorted features, including hollow, soulless eyes and jagged, primitive carvings that some believed were satanic symbols. Ed theorized that the idol had been used in occult rituals, likely as a focus for summoning dark entities or channeling malevolent energies. The hikers who first encountered the idol reportedly experienced a string of disturbing events after their discovery. One member of the group suffered a mysterious illness that baffled doctors, while another was involved in a near-fatal car accident shortly after handling the figure. Others reported recurring nightmares, shadowy apparitions, and an overwhelming sense of being watched. The Warrens noted a pattern of misfortunes among those who came into contact with the idol, leading them to believe it carried a powerful curse. Ed and Lorraine Warren decided to remove the idol from the woods, a task that proved more challenging than anticipated. During the transport of the idol, the Warrens' vehicle reportedly malfunctioned multiple times, and Lorraine claimed to feel a dark presence following them. Once the idol was secured in their museum, Ed performed a series of blessings and protective rituals to neutralize its energy. However, he admitted that the idol's sinister aura was difficult to suppress entirely. Visitors to the Warrens' Occult Museum often recount feeling uneasy when near the satanic idol's display. Some describe an inexplicable chill in the air, while others report feelings of nausea, dizziness, or an oppressive weight, as though the idol's energy is actively pushing them away. Despite its containment, the idol remains one of the museum's most enigmatic and dangerous artifacts. a stark reminder of the darkness that can emerge from rituals and beliefs not fully understood by the modern world. The Warrens cautioned that the idol's true origins remain a mystery, but they were convinced it was a tool used in dangerous rituals that likely involved summoning demonic entities. To this day, the idol's presence in the museum stands as a testament to the lingering power of objects steeped in the occult. One particularly unsettling item in the Warrens' Occult Museum was the Conjuring Mirror, an antique piece that, at first glance, seemed like any other vintage heirloom. Its ornate frame and slightly tarnished glass betrayed nothing of the sinister reputation it carried. However, those who dared to gaze into its reflective surface reported chilling experiences that defied explanation. The mirror was said to reveal horrifying visions, disturbing glimpses of the future, often marked by death, tragedy, or destruction. Among the most infamous accounts tied to the Conjuring Mirror was the story of a man who became obsessed with its ominous allure. He reportedly spent hours staring into the mirror, convinced it held the key to unlocking secrets about his destiny. One day he claimed to have seen a harrowing vision, himself lying motionless in a coffin. Shaken but unable to resist the mirror's pull, he returned to it repeatedly, hoping to alter the grim fate it had shown him. Tragically, just weeks later, the man died in a car accident, and those who knew him were struck by the eerie similarity between his death and the vision he had described. The Warrens believed the mirror had been used in occult rituals, possibly as a tool for scrying, an ancient practice of attempting to gain insight or foresight by gazing into reflective surfaces. Such rituals, they warned, could open dangerous portals, inviting malevolent forces to manipulate or torment the living. To prevent further harm, the Warrens secured the Conjuring Mirror in the museum, ensuring it could no longer draw victims into its chilling grasp. It remains a haunting reminder of the perils of meddling with the unknown. The museum also contained a haunting array of artifacts tied to dark rituals, possessions, and even demonic contracts, each one carrying a sinister tale that blurred the line between legend and horrifying reality. Among these unsettling items was a vintage music box, its delicate craftsmanship belying the chilling aura that surrounded it. The box was said to play a hauntingly beautiful melody, one that lingered long after it was heard, weaving itself into the minds of those who dared to listen. But the melody carried more than just sorrow. It was believed to be a beacon for the supernatural. The origins of the music box trace back to a grieving mother whose anguish over the loss of her young child led her down a desperate and dangerous path. Consumed by sorrow, she sought solace in the occult, turning to rituals she barely understood in the hope of summoning her child's spirit. The music box, a treasured keepsake of her child's, became the focal point of her efforts, a bridge between her world and the afterlife. By playing the box's melody during these rituals, she believed she could open a gateway to her child's soul. Tragically, her grief blinded her to the risks, and what responded to her pleas was not her beloved child, but a dark and malevolent entity. The spirit masqueraded as her child at first, manipulating her with familiar gestures and whispers, but as the days passed, its true nature became apparent. The entity grew increasingly oppressive, haunting her dreams, moving objects in her home, and manifesting in shadowy, grotesque forms. The woman's health and sanity rapidly deteriorated under the weight of its torment. Friends and family reported that she became a shadow of her former self, muttering to the box as if in conversation, and recoiling from any sign of religious symbols. In her final days, she was reportedly found cradling the music box, her face etched with terror. The music box eventually came into the possession of Ed and Lorraine Warren after they were contacted by relatives of the woman. The Warrens quickly identified the box as a cursed object, saturated with malevolent energy and serving as a tether for the entity that had destroyed the woman's life. According to Lorraine, the moment she touched the music box, she was overwhelmed by a vision of darkness, a swirling mass of despair and rage tied to the object. Once secured in their occult museum, the music box became one of the most notorious items in the collection. Visitors who ventured near its display often described a feeling of unease, as if unseen eyes were watching them. Some reported hearing faint whispers or the ghostly strains of the music box's haunting melody, though it was never wound or played. Others claimed to experience vivid nightmares after visiting the museum, dreams filled with shadowy figures and an inescapable sense of dread. For the Warrens, the music box was more than just an artifact. it was a stark reminder of the dangers of tampering with the unknown. Its story served as a cautionary tale about the devastating consequences of summoning forces beyond human understanding. Encased in glass and surrounded by protective blessings, the music box remains a symbol of the fine line between grief and obsession, and the horrors that can arise when that line is crossed. Ed and Lorraine firmly believed that every artifact in their museum carried residual energy, an invisible imprint left by the events and entities associated with it. Some objects merely radiated an eerie unease, while others exuded tangible danger. Visitors to the museum frequently reported chilling phenomena, unexplained cold spots, disembodied whispers, and an overwhelming sense of being watched. To mitigate these risks, the Warrens fortified the museum with layers of protection, including religious artifacts, sacred symbols, and regular blessings by clergy. One of the museum's most famous cases is tied to the Peron family haunting, the spine-chilling story that inspired the blockbuster film The Conjuring. The events took place in a remote farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island, where the Peron family experienced years of relentless torment from a malevolent entity. While the haunting itself unfolded far from Monroe, several artifacts tied to the case eventually found their way into the Warrens' Occult Museum. Among the most notable were a cursed iron crucifix said to have bent itself in defiance during an attempted blessing, and a collection of personal belongings that were reportedly manipulated or thrown by unseen forces. These objects, though seemingly mundane, bore the weight of a sinister history, serving as physical evidence of the supernatural horrors that once plagued the Peron family. The Warrens believed the malevolent spirit involved in the case was Bathsheba Sherman, a 19th century woman accused of witchcraft and suspected of sacrificing an infant to Satan. Though the accusations were never proven, Bathsheba's dark legend intertwined with the Peron haunting, amplifying the fear and mystery surrounding the case. The items collected from the Peron farmhouse now stand as silent witnesses to the terror endured by the family, and as powerful reminders of the otherworldly forces that can sometimes invade our world. If you'd like us to dive deeper into the Peron family haunting and the artifacts connected to it, let us know in the comments below. We'd be thrilled to bring you a special video unraveling this terrifying tale in all its eerie detail. Over the decades, the Warrens faced their share of skeptics who dismissed their work as theatrics or fabrication. Yet, their museum told a different story, one supported by countless individuals, including police officers, priests, and even hardened cynics. Many visitors entered the museum with doubts but left with a chilling certainty that the supernatural was real, their skepticism shaken by inexplicable experiences. In 2018, the Warrens' Occult Museum was forced to close its doors due to zoning issues, marking the end of an era for one of the most infamous collections of supernatural artifacts in the world. Nestled in the quiet town of Monroe, Connecticut, the museum had long been a place of both fascination and fear, drawing visitors from across the globe who sought a closer look at the eerie remnants of the Warrens' investigations. The closure left many wondering what would become of the cursed and haunted items housed within its walls, artifacts steeped in dark histories and brimming with residual energy. The uncertainty deepened in 2019 with the passing of Lorraine Warren, the last living steward of the museum and its chilling legacy. Following her death, the collection was carefully moved into secure storage, locked away from public access, to prevent the potential dangers of tampering with such volatile objects. Each item was handled with extreme care, as if the very act of moving them might awaken the energies they harbored. Protective blessings and rituals were reportedly performed to ensure that their sinister influence remained contained. Yet despite the museum's closure, the stories tied to these artifacts refused to fade into obscurity. They live on, immortalized through books, documentaries, and films that continue to spark curiosity and fear. Annabelle's infamous saga, a tale of a demonic entity masquerading as a harmless doll, remains a cornerstone of popular horror culture, its influence spreading through blockbuster films and chilling retellings. The shadowy mysteries of the satanic idol, the cursed music box, and countless other artifacts from the museum have become enduring symbols of humanity's fascination with the unknown. Even now, the Warrens' collection stands as a testament to their decades-long mission to confront and document the supernatural. Though the museum itself is no longer accessible, its legacy endures, haunting the pages of history and the imaginations of those brave enough to explore its tales. For skeptics and believers alike, the artifacts represent the fine line between myth and reality, a line the Warrens walked with unwavering determination. As whispers of the museum's possible reopening occasionally surface, the collection remains a powerful reminder of the mysteries lurking beyond the veil of our understanding. While its artifacts are locked away, their stories are far from silenced. They captivate, terrify, and inspire all who dare to delve into the shadows, proving that the unknown still has the power to reach out from the darkness, even when hidden from sight. The Warrens' Occult Museum remains a profound testament to the couple's tireless work and their quest to confront the mysteries that lie beyond human understanding. Though its doors are closed, its legacy looms large, a stark reminder of the forces that may lurk just beyond the veil of the ordinary. As the light fades and the shadows grow, the chilling stories of the Warrens' Occult Museum remind us of the fragile boundary between our world and the unknown. Each artifact, steeped in darkness and tragedy, carries a story that challenges our understanding of reality. While skeptics may dismiss these accounts as mere folklore, for those who have felt the cold touch of the supernatural, the truth is undeniable. The museum may no longer welcome visitors, but its secrets are far from buried. Its tales whisper through the cracks of history, daring the brave to confront the darkness. So, the next time you hear an unexplained creak or feel an unshakable chill, remember, the line between the known and the unknown is thinner than you think. As we close this chapter on the Warrens and their mysterious occult museum, let's take a moment to remember the deeper truths behind these haunting artifacts, the lives touched, the families affected, and the lingering questions that continue to defy explanation. Every item in that museum carries a story, and behind every story lies a darker layer waiting to be uncovered. Here on Sinister Secrets, we dare to explore those shadows, asking the questions others shy away from and unraveling the threads that bind these chilling tales. If this is your first time here and you're drawn to the eerie world of true crime, horror, and the supernatural, make sure to subscribe. And for those who've been with us for a while, thank you for being part of this fearless community. Your support means the world as we continue to shine a light on the darkest corners of the unknown. I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's story. What do you believe about the Warrens and their museum? Were they protectors of the paranormal, or was there something more at play? Share your theories and ideas in the comments below. And if you have a story suggestion or a chilling mystery you'd like us to explore, let me know. We're always looking for the next secret to uncover. Stay curious, stay vigilant, and until next time, keep your lights on and your mind open. You never know what might be watching from the shadows. Thank you for watching. This is Sinister Secrets, where the darkness whispers truths you were never meant to hear, and the most chilling mysteries refuse to stay buried. Until next time, keep your lights on, your doors locked, and pray you're truly alone.